It is a normal, quiet evening in the small town of Barron, Wisconsin. Population just 3,300. Most people are asleep, probably dreaming about their loved ones. But suddenly, a 911 dispatcher receives a call that quickly changes everything. There is no voice on the other end, only muffled screams. And then, a loud blast of a shotgun. It takes the police only 4 minutes to arrive at the scene, but unfortunately, they are too late. 2 people lie motionless on the floor, and their 13-year-old daughter is nowhere to be found. No one knows that the craziest case of survival and relentless determination has just begun. Barron, Wisconsin is right in the heart of America's Dairyland, a place known for rolling farmland, friendly neighbours, and Friday night football games that bring the whole town together. It's the kind of community where people still leave their doors unlocked, and the local diner is basically a second living room for everyone who stops by. But even in these peaceful surroundings, darkness can strike without warning. One of the people living in Barron is Jayme Closs, a 56-year-old who has worked at the Jenny O Turkey store for over 27 years. People describe him as a quiet but super helpful guy, someone you can always count on if you need an extra hand. He met his wife Denise, 46, at the very same place. She is warm, outgoing, and committed to her family and friends. If there is a charity event or a school activity in Barron, chances are Denise is right there, smiling and pitching in. Their daughter Jayme is everything they hoped for. Kind, a bit shy, but fiercely determined. She is an 8th grader at Riverview Middle School, and while she might not be the loudest person in the room, she is definitely someone you notice once you get to know her. Friends say she loves volleyball, cross-country, and dancing. She adores her dog Molly, and spends lots of time hanging out with her cousins at family gatherings. Little do the Closses know that their home will soon become the epicenter of a living nightmare, one that will shake the town of Barron and make national headlines. The Sunday before everything will go horribly wrong seems just like any other day for the family. Jayme and Denise are both off work, so they spend the afternoon tidying up the yard. It is already getting chilly in Wisconsin, one of those crisp fall days where you can almost feel winter creeping in. Jayme has already helped out with her chores, so she hops on FaceTime with her friends. They are all excited, chatting about an upcoming school dance. It sounds so normal, right? An evening each of us spends with her family every now and then. Later that day, the 3 of them sit down to a simple but cozy dinner of pizza and ice cream. Denise takes a moment to share some family photos on Facebook. One of them shows Jayme at a cousin's wedding, where she was a junior bridesmaid. And as it will turn out, these pictures were some of the last ever taken of the family together. At around 12:53 a.m, Denise jolts awake to the sound of Molly barking like crazy. She is clearly warning the family of something seriously wrong. When the mother looks out the window, she sees a car slowly pulling into their driveway, its headlights beaming across the yard. Sensing immediate danger, Denise wakes her husband, grabs her cell phone, and hurries with Jayme to the bathroom. It is the only room with a lock on the door. And honestly, I'd be shaking so hard if I were in her shoes. While moving to the bathroom, Denise somehow manages to dial 911. Even though she never got to speak with the dispatcher, the call ends up capturing every terrifying moment. You can hear Jayme confronting the intruder, "Show me your badge." Then come the intruder's furious screams, "Open the fucking door." Suddenly, there is a horrifying blast of a shotgun. Barron County Sheriff's deputies arrive at 1:01 a.m, barely 4 minutes after the call, but those 4 minutes were long enough to create a scene that would stay with them forever. The front door wasn't just kicked open, it was blown off so violently that splinters are stuck in the opposite wall. James's body is right by the door. He was shot at point-blank range. Following the trail of shotgun shells and smashed doors, the deputies rush to the bathroom. That's where they discover Denise's body, also shot at close range. It's clear the intruder wanted no witnesses left behind. But the scariest part? 13-year-old Jayme is gone. Police officers immediately begin searching the neighborhood. Within hours, the FBI and hundreds of volunteers join in. It turns into the biggest search the town, and probably even the state, has ever seen. Everyone is desperate for one answer. Where is Jayme? But could it be one of the questions better left unanswered? By sunrise on October 15th, the Closs home is transformed into a massive crime scene. Yellow police tape cords off the entire property, and it feels like a horror movie set. Except it's painfully real. Forensics teams creep around the yard, meticulously documenting every tiny detail. The FBI's evidence response team works alongside state crime lab technicians, collecting shell casings, DNA samples, and anything else that might offer the slightest clue. The 911 call becomes a crucial piece of evidence. Audio analysts try to enhance every second of the recording, hoping to pick up even the faintest words or sounds that could reveal the killer's identity. They notice that the caller moves during the call, which lines up with Denise trying to escape to the bathroom. Meanwhile, an Amber Alert goes out for Jayme. Every local news station broadcasts her photo, and giant digital billboards across the state light up with her image. 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, with strawberry blonde hair and green eyes. Jayme is officially missing. The clock is ticking, and everyone is racing to find her before something even more horrible happens. As days turn into weeks, the search for Jayme becomes one of the largest in Wisconsin history. The FBI offers a $25,000 reward, and Jennie-O Turkey Store matches it, bringing the total to $50,000 for any information leading to Jayme's return. It feels like the entire state is on high alert. Everyone is hoping and praying that she's still alive. The community's response is extraordinary. Thousands of volunteers show up to scour fields, forests, and abandoned buildings. It's both inspiring and eerie. Imagine hundreds of people trudging through the woods, not knowing if they're about to uncover a vital clue or stumble upon a scene straight out of a nightmare. Local businesses donate food and supplies to keep the search teams fed. Churches hold prayer vigils almost daily. At Riverview Middle School, Jayme's classmates leave her desk empty, but cover it with handwritten messages of hope and love. It's just heartbreaking. Meanwhile, law enforcement investigates over 2,000 tips. They knock on doors, interview registered sex offenders, track down every unfamiliar car spotted in Barron County, and chase down potential sightings all over the US. Every lead is carefully logged and checked, but each one leads to a frustrating dead end. To me, it's almost like a sinister puzzle where crucial pieces are missing. The longer Jayme stays missing, the more everyone fears the worst, but nobody is ready to give up on finding her alive. Meanwhile, Jayme Closs endures conditions that would break most adults. Her captor forces her to stay under his bed for up to 12 hours at a time. When he has visitors, he turns the music up loud to mask any sounds, threatening her with horrible consequences if she dares reveal herself. It's a nightmare scenario none of us would ever want to imagine, yet she's living through it day after day. This psycho tries to make everything seem normal, forcing Jayme to play board games or watch movies with him. He demands she call him by a different name, and insists she learns how to please him. Yes, it's exactly what you are thinking. Sometimes he flies into terrifying rages if she doesn't follow his rules perfectly, but other times he acts like they're just friends, which to me is even more disturbing. It's like a roller coaster of fear and forced friendliness, making Jayme question what's real and what's a trap. But she doesn't give up. She keeps track of routines and memorizes every detail of the place she's trapped in. She listens for outside voices, hoping for any clue about where she might be. Most importantly, she never loses hope that she can escape. But will she have the chance to do so? Or will this remote cabin become her grave? It's January 10th, 2019, and it starts off like the previous 87 days of Jayme's captivity. Cold, terrifying, and seemingly without hope. But today, something feels different. Patterson, Jayme knows her captor's name by now, tells her he'll be gone for several hours. The second he leaves, she senses this could be her chance. Summoning all her courage, she shoves aside the weighted bins trapping her under the bed, slips on a pair of Patterson's way too big shoes, and steps into the freezing Wisconsin winter. I can practically feel the chill in my bones just thinking about it. She's stepping from one nightmare straight into another. The temperature is brutally cold, and Jayme only has on light clothing. She doesn't know where she is, but she keeps walking anyway. After days and days of darkness, luck finally turns in her favor. She encounters Jeanne Nutter, a retired social worker out walking her dog. Can you imagine the shock of seeing a thin, terrified girl stumbling through the snow? Nutter later describes how Jayme, dirty and clearly shaken, approaches her and says the words she'll never forget. "I'm Jayme Closs. I don't know where I am. Please help me." Recognizing how serious the situation is, Nutter rushes Jayme to the nearest neighbour's house, which belongs to Peter and Kristin Kazinskas. While Kristin comforts Jayme, giving her food and water, Peter retrieves his shotgun, bracing himself in case Patterson shows up looking for her. They call 911, and within minutes, law enforcement swarms the area, sirens wailing and lights flashing against the snow. Meanwhile, Patterson is frantically driving around searching every dark corner for his missing prey. You can practically feel his panic rising as he realizes Jayme is gone. Suddenly, a bright blue light flashes in his rearview mirror. At first, he hopes it's just a routine traffic stop. Maybe he can still weasel his way out. But when the officer approaches with a gun drawn, Patterson knows it's all over. His voice is flat when he finally speaks. "I know what this is about. I did it." That's all this monster says, as if it's just another casual admission. It makes me wonder, what twisted force drives someone to commit such a brutal, cold-blooded murder? Was it obsession, delusion, or something even darker festering inside him? Jake Patterson's journey toward becoming a kidnapper and murderer begins long before he ever set eyes on Jayme Closs. He grows up in Gordon, Wisconsin, about 70 miles north of Barron, living a childhood marked by his parents' divorce and lingering social isolation. Old classmates describe him as quiet and withdrawn, someone who can't seem to make friends, and who stays locked in his own world. It's almost like you can see the storm clouds gathering around him from an early age. After graduating high school in 2015, Patterson joins the US Marine Corps, but he's discharged after only 5 weeks of basic training. He drifts from one job to another, never really settling. In a creepy twist of fate, he even works at the Jenny-O turkey store for a single day. The same place James and Denise Closs work. It's as if he's circling closer to the Closs family without even realizing it. Investigators eventually uncover a disturbing truth. Patterson first spots Jayme by pure chance while driving to his job at a cheese factory. He sees her getting on a school bus, and in his own words, he knows that's the girl he's going to take. But fortunately, there is a punishment awaiting for him. Patterson's confession is as thorough as it is chilling. He walks investigators through every dark detail of his crimes. From the moment he starts planning, to the abduction, to the 88-day nightmare he forces Jayme to endure. In March 2019, he pleads guilty to 2 counts of intentional homicide and 1 count of kidnapping. The judge sentences him to life in prison with no chance of ever getting out, telling him, "You are the embodiment of evil." Hearing those words in court is like a final confirmation that a true monster has been locked away. During the sentence hearing, Patterson barely shows any remorse. He even tries to apologize to Jayme, who wasn't there to hear it. But his shallow words can't possibly make up for the terror he caused. The judge makes it crystal clear, Patterson will never see the outside of a prison again. Honestly, knowing this twisted killer will remain behind bars for life brings some relief. At least one nightmare is over, and Jayme never has to fear him walking free. Jayme's return sparks celebrations across the nation. Her aunt and uncle Bob and Jennifer Smith become her guardians, giving her a loving home and the emotional support she desperately needs to heal. The community that never lost hope now rallies around her, offering constant support while respecting her privacy. It's heartwarming to see people come together after such a terrifying ordeal, almost like a candle in the darkness finally lighting up. Mental health experts point out that Jayme's road to recovery is a long one. Trauma on this level cuts deep and leaves scars, but Jayme's resilience is already shining through. She starts getting back to some of her favourite things, spending time with loved ones and slowly rediscovering moments of normalcy. Her Aunt Jennifer says she grows stronger every day, and I can't help but feel inspired by her courage. Even after facing a real-life horror story, Jayme is proof that hope can survive, no matter how dark the nightmare.